Hey, it's Jeremy from Lat SEO. In this video, I'm walking through an SEO audit of Titan Fittings to explain what can be done to help optimize their site better from an SEO perspective to help them get more traffic and generate more revenue from search and AI. And the first thing I want to do is look at the site a little bit to see what's going on, what type of site structure they have, and then also looking at opportunities for optimization from a very high level view. And then we'll dig into specifics. So first I see some information about the categories here, or collections, whatever you want to call them. And then, yeah, they call them categories. And then we have popular products listed and then articles as well. Now, the sections here, the popular categories, these are generally going to be extremely valuable to optimize and optimize well. And the reason why I'm saying that and what I mean by that is when you can optimize a category or collection style page for conversion focused keywords or phrases, chances are you're going to rank for more of those broad style key phrases and some of the more specific keywords. And what this looks like when this is done correctly, this is a result here of a project I worked on. You can see traffic from the first part of 2025 compared to the same time frame or the preceding time frame in 2024. Organic traffic only up 11.6% during that time frame. However, organic revenue was up 45%. And the reason why this happened is because we targeted keywords and phrases that made sense from a conversion perspective and not just focusing on traffic. That's where you get the massive results from an SEO and AI project as you're working on optimizing everything. Next thing to look at then would be in Ahrefs here. And this shows a ton of different data points, but the couple I like to look at first are DR, and then we'll look at the organic traffic data here as well. DR stands for domain rating. It's on a 0 to 100 scale. Basically lets us know how strong or how authoritative a website is. And this really comes into play as we start to look at and estimate whether or not we can compete for certain keywords. Now, again, this is not an official ranking metric and doesn't mean we can or cannot rank for certain keywords. It just gives us an idea about the strength and the potential for different keywords. Next then would be organic keywords and organic traffic. You can see here they're ranking for 6,600 keywords each month and getting about 17.2 thousand people to the site each month organically. Now, for some reason, let me refresh this chart. It was just showing up a second ago here. Here we go. It looks like they're on a slight downtrend of rankings here. And let's look and see what's going on and if this is something that can be fixed for them. So if we look at the keywords they're ranking for, what I like to do is filter US first, especially if the company is primarily focused for US buyers. And then we'll look at commercial and transactional. And what this is commercial or transactional intent style keywords. The reason I look at these is because, like I mentioned a minute ago, the chances of ranking for these or chances of converting traffic from these types of key phrases is much better than an informational or what is type query. Now, I always recommend to have both styles of content on your site as well, because they serve different intents and different purposes. But let's look and see what's going on here. So now we have almost 7,000 keywords that match commercial or transactional intent. And we have solenoid valve, hydraulic cylinder, hydraulic hose. Let's look at, so a couple things here, solenoid valve and hydraulic cylinder. If you look here, you can see these are both articles. And if we look at, let's look at hydraulic cylinder, just for a quick example here, just to see. So they have an article, the informational style piece of content. And then if we look at number one, this is a category page. This is a category page. Then we have the informational. This is a category page, homepage, which is probably served for products, category page, and then another informational page. So only two of the ranking websites on page one are informational style pages. The rest, including the top two ranking websites, are category or collection style pages. So when you're optimizing your site, you need to look at and match intent for what is somebody likely looking for when they're typing that keyword or phrase into search. So that is we're not going to look at hydraulic cylinder specifically because I don't believe they actually have that product. But hydraulic hose, let's look at this and see what's going on here. So I'll open this, and then let's look at the search results for this as well. Now, like I mentioned, they being Titan, if we look at their DR again, just to confirm, DR 26, First thing to do then is just see, is it potential? Is there any potential to compete for this key phrase? Number one ranking site for this key phrase is 23, then a 16, 50, 79, 77, 32, 33. So they're stronger than the top two ranking sites from a DR perspective. Now, again, DR is not an official ranking metric and is not the only factor that comes into play with rankings, but it does give us an idea that a site in this ballpark can likely compete for this keyword if everything is optimized correctly. And then we have Titan down here at number 37, DR 26. A couple more things to look at then. One is, how are these sites, first of all, what types of pages are these? And this is homepage, homepage. This looks to be a category style page. This is a category style page, category page, homepage, category page. And for Titan, it is a category page. So they're matching that intent for this key phrase, which is nice. A couple other things to look at then from an optimization perspective would be how much content are on these pages. Let's just look at the top two, just as a quick example here. So we have discount hydraulic hose. Looks like they have, obviously a homepage is going to have different optimization than a category page. And this is pretty general. So the other thing to think about from a rankings perspective is discount hydraulic hose. They have, first of all, their brand name includes this key phrase. So they're going to get additional benefit from that because it's also in their domain. And they probably have dozens or hundreds of links that also include hydraulic hose in them. So they are very likely to get major benefit from all of those factors. Then we have Hydraulics Direct, same type of thing. They have hydraulics in their domain and it's their homepage. So they're probably getting a lot of links that include that as well. And Titan Fittings, it's a little bit more broad than just focused on hydraulics. So that is one additional optimization factor to think about. But if we look at Hydraulics Direct and see what's going on with this page, it actually looks, it's the basically exact same layout as Titan. Interesting. I don't know if they are associated companies or not, but it looks like the same structure of site. If we go back and forth here, Titan, and I think this is, yeah, zoomed in. So the top is almost the exact same, just the logo and colors are changed. And then the popular categories here, same thing if we go back and forth. Basically the same layout. So either same theme, same design, or something else is maybe it's the same company. I haven't looked to see if it is the parent company or something. But anyway, let's just look at how we can help Titan here. So the DRs, like I said, definitely something in the ballpark they can compete for. So what else can be done and what should be done on a page that has products listed like this? A number of different things. First would be adding additional content. And I've mentioned this numerous times, and kind of like I mentioned here with the results for this, is building content on this page that you want to optimize. Let me clean this up a little bit, close some of these that we don't need. So to optimize a page like hydraulic hoses, adding content on this page is something that would very likely help rank for more keywords and phrases and help you rank better for those keywords. And there are a couple of different ways to do this. One would be to add a very little bit of content at the top, and then underneath the product grid or additional categories here, add much more content. And the reason why this is beneficial is if we look at the key phrase hydraulic hose, and actually let's look at all keywords containing hydraulic hose. Now we have a list of 13,443 keywords here. And if you look at search volume per month now for this entire category, 281,000 searches per month globally. And some of these don't make sense to target or focus on. It's additional product like hydraulic hose crimper, repair, things like that. But let's say 100 of these keywords actually make sense and would be a great focus from a product fit for you. Having additional content on this page gives you a much better chance to rank for these keywords. So what you would do is optimize your page and add that content on this page. Secondly, then you go to this questions section here and you have 148 keywords, 1,200 additional searches per month, 2,000 global searches per month. of people with questions about this specific product. So what you would do in this case is add an FAQ section at the bottom of the page and mark it up with structured data so that it's easier for you to rank in AI and easier for potential customers of yours to find you when they don't know you exist. When they have a problem and you have the solution and you have the answer for their problem. So it makes it easier for you to be found by them when you have this content on your site as well. And this is just a very small snippet of what you could find in terms of questions for something like this. If you were to go to Google, for example, here's actually a site operator search. But if we do a hydraulic hose and you scroll down to the people also ask section in Google, you get another list of questions. Now, as you click on each of these or any of them, additional questions pop up. So you can just click on the same one and new questions pop up. You can do this a number of different times here. And as you do, now you have all of these additional questions. Can hydraulic hoses be repaired? Can they be used for water? And again, you can just click on these and it'll keep generating new questions at the bottom that if it makes sense for you to have this answer on your site, then absolutely include this within your FAQ section. And that is another way to get questions that people are actually asking according to search that is going on right now. You could also do this in AI and ask for searches people are asking about this topic as well. So now you may be wondering, okay, I have this page, I have no content on it, and I need to add content. How much content do I add? What keywords do I add? How do I optimize this? I use a tool called Neuron Writer. And what I do here is I put the keyword or phrase we want to rank for in here. And then what this does is looks at the top ranking websites in Google for this key phrase. And you can select or unselect. I, by default, just leave the top 10 selected and click next. Then what this does is gives us the expected content length and all of the expected headings and keywords and phrases we need to use within the content to make sure we're optimized correctly based on the sites currently ranking well for this keyword. So if we look here at Titan and we just actually, let me do one quick check here to see if this hydraulic hoses, it is an H1. So what I'm looking at is this part here, H1, and you can kind of see as I hover over it in the upper left underneath their logo and the hamburger menu, you can see H1.block text - primary text. So this means this is the primary key phrase on the page from a technical optimization perspective, which is good, but there is no additional information on this page. So if I just copy this right here and we go to Neuron Writer, paste this in, this is the entirety of the page. And it recommends that we have 713 words of content. Now, other thing I want to add in here just to make sure is if we view page source and we take this title. So I want to take the title in here as well and the description. And we go to title here, add the title, and you can use they have a generator, AI generator for titles as well. And then if we take the description here, is actually about the same as the title. So I would recommend optimizing that a little better as well. We have the description here. Hydraulic hose is used mainly for hydraulic fluid power. Now we save that. So now it shows here that the optimization for them on this page is 41 out of 100 here. And the highest of all competitors on page 1 is 80. But again, you can see here, the top number 1 in Google is only a 27. And part of that is, like I said, because their content is not optimized as well as it could be for that key phrase, but they have the URL and their brand name contains the exact key phrase that we're looking at here. So again, all of these metrics that I'm looking at are to be used and looked at individually. And it's not something that if you have a better content score, you're going to rank better necessarily. There are other factors at play here. But this gives us a great starting point to make sure that our content is optimized for the keywords we want to rank for. So what you can do here is a couple different things. One would be to take all of this information, these H1 terms that are recommended, and if the key phrase that you want to rank for is hydraulic hoses, this is fine. You could also then leave the H1s then, take the H2s, H3s, and start to build an outline yourself. So you want to include things like hydraulic hose, product, things like that into the H2s and H3s. And from a content perspective, again, if you're unfamiliar, an H1, it's going to be the title of the page, almost always. H2 will be a subsection or a subheading. And then H3 will be a subheading or a subheading of an H2. And if you think about it from a content hierarchy perspective, if you look here, you can, H1 is going to be the biggest text, H2, and this is by default in Google Sheets actually, and then H3. So you can see the size difference here. That's almost always how it will be styled as well. And if you want to think about it from an outline perspective, this then would be like this, and this would be underneath the H2. And then if you want to have another H3, you do that. And then when you get to another subheading where you're done with that section, then you have another H2. And one other note here on this is you can go like this, H2, H2, but I would not recommend, and search algorithms do not recommend, skipping H2, going like this, H1, H3, H3, H2, and so on. And if you look here, that is what is going on with this page actually. It's H1 and then they skip right to H3 for the titles of these sections here. So quick side note there about technical optimization as you're building content. Back to task at hand. So if you're doing this yourself, you're building this outline with H1s if necessary, H2s, H3s, and then you also have these keywords here. Keywords to include as well as the recommended number of times, and then an extended list of keywords to include. That's one way to do it. If you wanted to use AI to build an outline, you could do that as well. So what you would do is get the estimated number of words here. So I'll say 715, go into ChatGPT. I need an outline of a piece of content that includes the following H2, H3 sections. And then you go back to Neuron, copy this, paste this in. I need to include relevant keywords, phrases, topics within my content. I'm going to include the list. I want to build me a detailed outline so I can write the content manually. So you go to Neuron then, and you go back to article, click on basic terms. Let me hide my video so you can actually see this. Terms with suggested uses. So you click here, click terms with suggested uses, back to GPT, paste that in there, go to extended, click on this, click terms with suggested uses, go here, paste that in there. And did I write oh, this is just the article or the outline. So I'll just copy all of this. And then let's see if this builds us the outline. So this should get an outline then where you can either then write this content yourself or give it to somebody on your team to write, or to a writer, and somebody can create this content for you. Now, the last option then would be to instead just have AI write the content for you, and then you manually edit it. AI content can rank extremely well, but I always recommend if you're using AI content to still have manual editing to make sure that A, it makes sense and reads well and there's no errors, and B, that it is still understood by your target market that the content is legit and has a human touch to it as well. So there are, like I said, you can rank very well with AI content. Just depends on your goals and your strategy as a brand. So as we look here, again, you can copy all of this into Neuron Writer or into any other tool or writing area, Google Docs, and write the content. Or let's have this just create the entire piece for us. So I need an article that is 715 words long and includes the following H2, H3s, and includes these. I need to include these relevant. I'm going to include a list. I want you to build me I want you to write the full, well-optimized article. Now, the other thing I would do in here also is include internal links. So we could, let's see if this will actually work. Sometimes it takes some additional prompting. Include relevant internal links to the following pages on my site. And let's see if this can actually get them. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and it needs new prompting. So what I'm doing is just copying these links from these category pages, because sometimes contextual links work better. And also what I would recommend is finding other Actually, they spelled hydraulic wrong in the URL. Hydraulic, AU, and this is UA. So that is something that should be fixed up as well. But the other thing to look at here then would be to add other either products that are key for you or other categories or pages on the site within here. So let's see if this actually gives us a decent output here. And I don't know why the H1 is hydraulic, maybe because I didn't specify. And hose, hydraulic hose. Okay, so it's giving very general H2s and H3s, I guess because I said that. Okay, so this prompt should absolutely be changed a little bit because these are relatively, this is not great content as a first run. So let's say redo the content and make the H2s, H3s more natural based on these sections. Only include them as necessary and make them well optimized for search and SEO. Okay, so this is better. Now, complete guide, you have to be careful with this also because this leads this content to believe this is more informational and not on a conversion style page. But if the title is optimized differently, that's okay. I would probably just remove this and include some of these here. So we have some questions here. These internal links look to be active, which is good. Industry standards and safety, applications, and application pages. I've talked in a lot of videos about the value of these and how, as any B2B site, having individual pages, these would be absolutely massive potential to build these pages and link to them as well. Huge opportunity here. And let's see. Okay, so let's just copy all of this content now and go back to Neuron Writer. And this is 41. And if we paste all of this in here now, and I just remove the complete guide because I don't like that. Now we're at, so content's a little bit light here, it says, but the content score is 95. So all of this content that we just added, even though, again, this is first draft, not edited, just AI right out of the box, is a 95 out of 100 on the content score here, based on an average of the top ranking websites, H1s, H2s, H3s, keywords and phrases they use, content length, and how well the page is optimized for the keyword you want to rank for. So last thing I would do here then is, after editing the content, making sure it's legit and matches brand voice and there's no information in here that's incorrect, all of that type of stuff. After the content is ready to go from that perspective, take this content and potentially wordsmith the first section a little bit and add that to the top of the page here, just so somebody has a very quick idea. Most people who are looking for a hydraulic hose don't really need information about what a hydraulic hose is, how it works, things like that. They're looking for a specific product to help them. And then you would take all of the rest of this content at the bottom here and add it underneath. So it's after all of these products or categories here, and somebody can read that information if they want to, but really it's mostly for helping you rank better for all the keywords and phrases you want to rank for. Hopefully you got some value from this video. If you did, subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I plan to continue posting more videos like this, talking about exactly what should be done from an SEO perspective to help you rank better and get more traffic in both search and AI, and help you generate revenue from these efforts, because that's the whole point of doing all of this. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one.